5 years ago, I started a temporary Christmas light hanging business out of the back of my Ford Fusion with a Gorilla ladder and a box of lights.
Did what? It's hard work.
Fast forward to now, 5 years later, we do $800,000 in sales in a 2-month period. We have 30 employees that include my friends' wives, and a bunch of college kids, and it's become the most rewarding business that I could have ever dreamt of. In this video, I wanna talk about exactly how I started it, how we advertise, how we do the actual jobs, how we sell jobs, and then how you can apply a lot of these concepts in a business that you start from scratch, or if you have an existing home service business that you can glean some value from the exact ways that we do it. So the first part about a Christmas light business is you need to know the specifics of how each business worked. There's guys that hang Home Depot lights on people's houses and they just go buy a $30 box of lights, get paid hourly to do it, and then just go home and are happy to make, 30, 40 bucks an hour. That is not my model. My model is commercial grade product. We do residential and a sprinkle of commercial. We buy bulk material and we actually custom cut the roofline lights to fit on people's houses. We do trees, we do wreaths, we do bushes, we do all of the other sorts of stuff that give people a custom display. Because I'm not in the business of getting paid hourly while I'm taking all the risk. My guys are getting on ladders. They're taking risk of their lives and everything else. We are not charging per hour. We're charging for the completion of the job. That's an incredible distinction. Because when someone says they have a Christmas light hanging company, that can mean a lot of different things. They could be, chucking the truck, doing it with no insurance or anything else, or they can have an actual business. We have an actual business. We have all of the state docs, all of the federal docs. We're fully insured. Our guys get workman's comp. Our guys get paid. Everything is above board. And that's super important because when you hear about how we price things, you have to understand that our pricing is objectively expensive because it's an actual business that's taking on risk. And we're attracting high net worth clients.
Or you'll just throw it all up really fast. It's high risk, high reward.
Let's talk about exactly how the business works. So the main product we install is the roofline lights. That's what almost 90% of people are calling for. We don't buy Home Depot lights. We don't buy lights from Lowe's. We buy a commercial grade product that is custom cut. So if you can see this strand that I cut up, these are the roofline bulbs. And what we do is we put male ends on one side and female ends on the other, and we create our own cord essentially. You do the same thing with extension cord and all of that. What it lets us do is whatever color combination the customer wants, we can provide that. And so we're literally out there screwing in every individual bulb of this commercial grade product, but it fails less. It's a lot brighter on houses, and it makes the lights look like they're custom fit on the people's roof line. So we buy this product for about $1.25 to $1.75 a foot, and we sell it for anywhere between $9 to $12 on a leasing model. Now, you might think that's a lot of margin, Steve, but the truth is, once you start paying all the expenses of running a business that climbs ladders all day, temporarily in a 2-month period every year, you realize that you actually have to charge a lot more than you think to run a legal business.
It's expensive and good.
The second product we have is we do a lot of trees and bushes. And so what we do with the trees and bushes is we use these string light products. And these ones you're not cutting or anything like that, but you're doing essentially a lot of wrapping around of bushes, wrapping around tree trunks, everything else. And this is what really gives people the addition, right? So a lot of people want the roof line, and then this becomes a huge upsell portion. And so we buy these for anywhere between $7 and $9 a strand, and we install them for about $52 a strand. The labor associated with these is what makes these so expensive, because when you're putting one of these on a tree, you're unrolling the entire thing. And when you're tearing it down, you're also unrolling the entire thing. As opposed to when you tear down a roof line, all of the work is putting it up. When you tear it down, you just yank it down and all the clips come with it. And so that's the second main piece. The third thing we do, and these are more of the ancillary products. This is one of our sphere products. I didn't fully undo it yet, but we'll put in some B-roll here to show you what the actual spheres look live. They look a lot better than this. And what we do is that becomes another add-on to people that want to go crazy with the lights. The thing that's interesting about this business is a lot of people are calling us because we positioned ourselves as more of the higher end service. A lot of people are calling us wanting a custom display. A lot of it starts with the roof line, and then when they realize we can do so much more stuff, their trees, with the strand wraps around the trunks and the branches, but then also we can suspend these spheres in the actual canopy of the tree, you start to really make a full display. And then behind me, you can see we do wreaths, custom wreaths with bows, and we light them in whatever colors they want and different things like that. And then we also do ground stake lighting and a few other little ancillary products as well. But the main part of the business is the roof line and some trees. We use the other products as an ability to upsell the people who really are just trying to write a blank check. And the one thing I want to really note, if you're thinking about adding this to an existing business, or you have a Christmas light business, or you're thinking about starting one, the thing you really want to understand is when you're doing all the work yourself, you can take your time, you can do everything pretty much on your own speed. There's not a lot of overhead. You can run the business however you want, whether it's a side hustle or anything else. But when you start adding employees and adding scale, what you have to understand is just how dangerous and labor intensive the business becomes to do it right. And so, for example, when we talk about wrapping trees, usually the ground is uneven. You've got a ladder propped up against the tree. It can have thorns on the branches. We're in Arizona, and so we don't have a lot of these big evergreen trees. We have a lot of like Palo Verdes and ironwood trees, which are like sometimes can have spikes on the branches. There can be sap dripping everywhere. It's like pretty manual labor when you actually start doing it at scale, because sometimes these guys will do one tree and the tree will take 40 strands. And so if you're looking at this strand that I was just showing, like if I do one of these and I'm wrapping it around a branch a bunch of times, and then I have 39 more of these to do on one tree, it can be pretty labor intensive and also pretty dangerous. And so we have to carry the proper insurance and and we actually have to train our guys properly as well, instead of just throwing them out on a house and saying, go after it, because there's a lot of risk associated with it. And so that's a huge thing you want to notate when you're thinking about getting into this business. And not even to mention the roof lines. Like if you take an Arizona home, a lot of them have tile roofs. And so it's more dangerous to walk on the tile, both for safety purposes and then also not damaging tiles on people's roofs. What we deal with in Arizona is a lot of risky second story roofs. What people deal with in colder climates where they have the asphalt shingles and things like that is steeper pitches and a completely different thing. So every market kind of has their own thing that makes it more difficult or less difficult. I will take Arizona's problems 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. We don't deal with snow out here. We don't deal with crazy, scary pitched roofs. For any Christmas light guys, we don't even own a goat. And a goat is like the thing that helps you climb steep pitches. We don't even have to own that. And so every market's different. So when I say it works in mine, might not work in yours. I just want to notate that.
No goats.
So now that we've talked about the install side and what it looks like to actually execute on the product installation, you probably want to know, how do we acquire jobs? And this is the structure that I use in multiple home service businesses. So I've had a junk removal company that we scaled to low 6 figures just on the side, keeping our leadership positions in the Christmas light business employed year round. And then I also have the Christmas light business. And then I also now have the permanent track light business. That's the permanent Christmas light product. We do the same customer acquisition strategies for marketing across all of these businesses. And it really comes down to a couple of things. The first thing we really focus on is we do a lot of Facebook and Instagram ads in the beginning, because you don't have the luxury of getting your phone to ring from a bunch of strangers. And so we like to do video style ads. I talk about it in a lot of other videos. There's entire breakdowns on how to actually execute on that. So I'm not gonna go into it too deeply here, but we do a lot of video style ads on Facebook and Instagram. We run a lot of Google pay-per-click ads. Those have become less profitable, but they're still profitable. There's just a lot more competition now on the Google pay-per-click side. And then we do a lot of organic signage strategies. So this would be yard signs, both public facing in the neighborhoods and everywhere else, that just generate cheap phone calls, and then you can sell them from there. And then we also do branded yard signs in our customers' yards. We do other things like we have decals and truck wraps on our fleet of vehicles. If you're a newer guy, you at least want to get a magnet on your vehicle so you don't look like a crackhead pulling up to people's houses. It's probably worth noting, for the first 3 years, we rented U-Hauls and scaled the business to $500,000 in 2 months doing it out of U-Hauls. So don't use your vehicle situation as an excuse to not start the business or scale it. You can get pretty creative. And then a few other ways we market is we really like to capitalize on word of mouth. So we do A-frames in the street every time we're doing an install that incentivizes the neighbors to call. In the beginning, I don't always recommend it, but sometimes people can have success doing postcards. I think your money's a lot better spent on the other things I mentioned than postcards. But what you really want to do in this business is realize that your TAM, your total addressable market, is all going to call you in about a month and a half period, about 40 to 45 days. And so knowing that the entire area that you're trying to serve in a regular business might be able to call you from January through December, in a Christmas light business, they all call you in late October up until about Thanksgiving. And so you have to have systems and processes ready to take all of that demand at one time, because it can be overwhelming. And so the advertising side is what really, really cranks it. What I typically see is guys get scared that the advertising isn't going to work, and then they don't even throw any money at it. And so people will be like, oh, I don't want to run Facebook ads because they might not work. I don't want to run Google pay-per-click because they might not work. But the reality of it is, we know the result if you don't. And so what I recommend to people to do is, if you think like, okay, I've watched Steve's videos, I've watched a bunch of other people's videos, I think we can do $50,000 in sales this year. You should probably set aside about $5,000 to $7,500 just on marketing so that you can actually get at bats to sell people.
Marketing, super.
So in my business, we have 2 full-time sales reps that are 1099 positions, and they're going out and selling these jobs all day long. Our average ticket is $3,800. A lot of people find that extremely hard to believe because most Christmas light companies' average tickets are somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000, even if they're doing it on the commercial side. What worked for us was when we run advertisements, we only advertise in the highest earning zip codes in the Valley. For those that aren't in Arizona, the Valley is essentially Phoenix and Scottsdale and the surrounding cities. There's mountains around everywhere else. Not worth explaining over than that. When I say Valley, that's what I mean. And so what we do is when we force advertising into those areas only and consolidate it, there's a lot more brand awareness for a lot less money that way, but the quality of phone call that comes in is way better. And so we as a business have 2 sales reps that go out in person after we pre-qualify them on the phone financially to actually go out and sell them. And what I mean by pre-qualifying on the phone is we tell them what our minimum price is and get them to agree that that's okay. We tell them what our average price is and get them to agree that that's okay. And we tell them we are a commercial product, we are custom cut, we are not the cheap guys, but we're fully insured and do better work than everyone else. As long as they understand that, we'll send a sales rep out there. My sales guys mid-season are doing anywhere between 4 to 6 estimates a day each. And so we're doing 8 to 12 quotes a day each. Typically on that route, we close about 33% of those bids. That doesn't work if you're charging $1,000 a house. But when your average ticket's $3,800, that would mean if we did 12 estimates in a day, you would essentially get, let's just round up, $4,000 a job. You're going to close 33% of the 12 estimates. They should be selling $12,000 to $15,000 a day in product.
That's a lot of product.
And so the way we sell it is we itemize every single thing and let the customer choose. Most people want just the roof line. But what we like to do is we like to give them what they wanted, the roof line quote. We like to separate the front of the house. If they want to do the sides and the back, we'll give them a separate quote for that. And then we let them choose. And then our sales guys like to go on more of a design focused route when they sell. So typically they'll ask the customer, I know you wanted just the roof line. I think there's a lot of other opportunity at your home to do an additional thing. Do you want me to just give you a few examples? And then the customer says yes. And then they go, cool, here's the tree in the front yard. I think you should do it here. And I think you should do it this color. This is what it's going to cost. And then this is the second tree in the front yard. You should do it this color. This is what it's going to cost. Oh, and then you could do spheres in this tree. A wreath would look really good over your front door. And then they just keep going from there. And then we give the customer the choice to itemize them out. And so we want to create the illusion of them shopping. What a lot of people do wrong, in my experience, has been the customer asks for everything, and then they give them a quote for just $5,000 for every single thing they ask. And then what happens is the customer gets the quote across the screen. They're like, $5,000, and they don't even open it and look at it. What we like to do is we send zeroed out quotes with check boxes on our system, and it actually lets the customer go through and shop like they're shopping on Amazon, and then they're more in control of their destiny. Seasoned installers that are watching this are gonna go, well, that would make your average ticket go down. If you have higher than a $3,800 average ticket, then I'll listen to you. I have met very few people on the residential side that do have higher than a $3,800 average ticket. I'm not saying my way is the gospel, but I'm saying if your ticket's less than that, maybe there's something to what I'm talking about. Because we did do the package pricing for a few years, and our average ticket went up and our close rate went up when we got away from that. So now you're probably wondering, wow, $800,000 in 2 months, that's a lot of employees and overhead and systems. Better than me explaining how we do that, I'll bring in Jack, our director of operations, who oversees the 3 trucks we have on the road, all going to separate jobs, all of our managers, and then all of our employees as well. He'll have a way better understanding of how that works, as he tells me I suck at installing, and so I'm no longer allowed to touch bulbs. So without further ado, I'm gonna tap Jack in. Jack, welcome to the show. We have a 3-truck process. Tell us exactly how that process works and how you manage 3 different crews in one single day.
Yeah, so 3 trucks rolling. We have 2 crew leads plus myself each day. Those crew leads can rotate. We have more than just the 2. That way I'm on the more technical stuff, bigger jobs. If I need to help them with other things, those 2 trucks can also come just do one big job for the day. It really depends on what our goals are for that day. So we're trying to get 15,000 on average installed daily. That splits up around 5,000 a truck. Some trucks doing 6, some doing 4, one might do 10. It just really depends on what that schedule looks like for us that day.
Perfect. And when you talk about going into the 3 crew model, because this is the first year we did that, what difference did that make in terms of like employee morale and everything else, as opposed to the 1 or 2 truck model that we did last year?
Yeah, it was a huge improvement for us, because when you're staring down the barrel of, all right, all of us together, there's 15 of us or whatever it may be for that day. I have 6 jobs ahead of me that I gotta go tackle to get to that 15K revenue mark or whatever it is. It's less than that averaging out. But when each truck can go, all right, my one house is 5,000. Morale wise, like guys are getting out around 2 or 3. We're not having the late nights anymore. We're not burning it at both ends. So it allows us to get the clip that we want without pushing our guys past where we want them to be, because it is seasonal and we need to squeeze all the juice out of the bottle that we can, but we also don't want to burn guys out too quick.
When you added the 3 crews, did you see attrition drop off on the year this year compared to last year?
Yeah, and I would definitely say that it also allowed people to step into roles a little bit better too, because all right, now we're split up. I need to be making sure that I'm doing what I need to do. You can't really hide around just being the bulber anymore, or just not doing, like, it really made our efficiency go up, because with that smaller 3 crew, 3 guys a truck kind of system, everyone's got to be working and they got to be working together. So not only did it help our attrition, but also our efficiency.
We do some commercial jobs. That's become a newer thing for the business. Tell us a little about your experience taking all of the employees 2 straight days up to a job that's an hour away and doing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's good because, one, that's kind of fun bringing all the guys together, getting that morale, and just kind of looking at a big task and being like, all right, let's bang this out. Just think of it as that park is 6 homes with their 4 trees or whatnot, divide and conquer. But being able to have that capability to switch from people being on their own and being able to do what they need to do without my oversight, and then being able to come together and still accomplish a goal when we're all as one crew, because everyone knows what to do, that's been really helpful for us.
Cool. And then we've added a 4th vehicle for this next season, and then also added the permanent lighting division, which is what your Polo is. Tell us about what you're excited about in terms of adding the permanent light product.
It'll help us with efficiency, because roof lines, I don't know about other Christmas light companies out there, they can pitch in if they'd want, but they seem to be the slowest or the most detail-oriented thing that we have to do, because bulbs got to be on peaks, wiring, you got to be a lot more careful, and you're tucking it away, making sure everything looks right, and just the risk factor of guys being on ladders more. So having that maybe done with some of them being permanent light installs before the season happens, and then guys can just go out there, hit the trees, and still give the homeowner the look that they wanted for that Christmas season, going all out, but then having that year-round ability to have their accent lighting, their security lighting, or 4th of July, whatnot. So it's really exciting that we're adding it this year.
So now you know the structure. I think most of you are probably watching because how does this apply to you? And so whether you're starting from scratch or you have a business that's already existing and you want to bolt on Christmas lights, the process is largely the same. What you want to do is you want to go find a commercial grade product. I like Christmas Light Contractors USA, especially in the beginning, because they actually sell starter packs. And so when you're thinking about doing a roof line for the first time, you're like, okay, I need bulbs, I need wire, I need extension wire, I need male ends, I need female ends, and everything else, clips, all that jazz. There's about 6 or 7 different products that you need. And so it's kind of overwhelming to go piecemeal those together and make sure they work. And so ChristmasLightContractorsUSA.com, the owners are incredible dudes. They will give you starter packs and sell you like a 500-foot starter pack or a 250-foot starter pack. And you could do it on your house or a family member's house or a business or something like that to get your feet wet. And then you just keep going like that and then scale up the business from there. The beauty about Christmas light businesses is that you can fund the businesses with existing sales that you already do. And so you don't need to go buy $10,000 worth of product and hope that you sell it. What you do is you sell jobs and you take 50% deposits up front to sell that job, and then for them to get a spot on the schedule. And then you take that 50% deposit and buy your product with it. So that way, for a myriad of different reasons, if the business doesn't work out for some reason, you're not stuck with your pants between your ankles wondering why you spent $10,000 on product and you only sold $1,000 worth of jobs. And so that part's extremely important. It's why I love the Christmas light business so much as a starter business. And then a lot of the concepts that I learned while running and scaling this business, I've taken into other businesses and scaled them as well. Whether it's the permanent lighting business that we just spun off of this brand, the junk removal company that I started after, as well as the Home Service Accelerator business, where now I take a lot of the similar concepts of selling, marketing, everything else into an online business that helps show other home service businesses exactly how to market and sell their businesses across the country. So a Christmas light business is an unbelievable starter business with very low risk.
It's a business. I'm starting a business.
And here's a little bonus point. As you guys know, I've been very upfront on my personal socials that we spun off the permanent lighting brand this year. I pushed back on the permanent roofline products for about 3 years. I went out to Texas 2.5 years ago and looked at a vendor, and I was very disenchanted with the quality of the product. So we didn't want to go sell our customers that have been with us for multiple years already a permanent product that we didn't think was going to be permanent in 105 to 110 degree Arizona sun. But now we feel like the product, most of these are on the 4th or 5th variation and model, is there for us to sell. So we spun off this permanent lighting brand, Valley Premier Lighting, that we can sell year round. And so this is that new color changing track light system that you've probably seen. This is the Minleon product. We buy it from Christmas Light Contractors USA, who I mentioned earlier. What we really like about this is it's a lot higher ticket. And so if we sell a roof line for anywhere from $9 to $12 a foot on the temporary side, we'll install this for about $29 to $35 a foot, depending on the roof line. And so it's a huge average ticket where our business used to be completely dormant from the months of February to October. Now we have a huge business model that we can go year round, and that's what this permanent track lighting system is. And so basically the way it works is these are all color changing LEDs, and they're attached to an app that people can control on their house with their phone. And so they can change the colors year round. They can use it for security lighting. They can do all of these different things. This is the product that I'm the most excited about going forward. And it's actually the reason why we're selling off the junk removal company and going all in on the permanent lighting and landscape lighting, because the businesses just kind of blend together more naturally. So if you want to see how we've scaled that business and we do it from scratch, whether we're doing the SEO from scratch, the social media, you can follow it at Valley Premier Lighting on Instagram, and you can see us actually playing out, starting a brand essentially from scratch with the knowledge that I have now that I've showed you on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere else. And you could take those step-by-step things that we're doing in our business and implement it in yours and see us getting it off the ground from scratch. If you like what you saw here and you like the info about the Christmas light business and you like the content about other businesses and you want to get more hands-on training for exactly how to market and scale any home service business, there's a link in the description of this video to book a call with the Home Service Accelerator. That's the business that I have that's helped over 235 home service business owners to date scale their marketing, their sales, their signage, their brand, and everything else, completely turn their business into a money printer. It's worked for me in 3 brands now, and it's worked for about 235 other people in the country. So feel free to book a call there. We'll see if you're eligible, and we'd love to give you a little bit more hands-on help. So if you like what you saw here, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I document, and I have documented my businesses for the last 5 years on here. So you can actually go back and see the growth of my businesses. And if you like the content and you want a little bit more hands-on help, the Home Service Accelerator is literally there to help businesses that want a little bit more juice in their business. We show you exactly how to implement Facebook ads, how to implement my signage strategies, give you sales scripts and help you get better at sales, help you dial in your brand, your Google business page, all the things that turn my business into a $400,000 a month wagon with 30 employees. There's a link in the description to book a call. We'll talk to us and we'll see if you're eligible. And then you can get on the other side and join the other 235 home service business owners that have had their businesses explode through the accelerator.